Have you ever looked at a pigeon waddling across the sidewalk and thought, "Buddy, you clearly own wings, so why are you walking like a tiny nervous manager late for a meeting?" And then, 1 second later, it flaps away like gravity just lost an argument. That is the weird thing about birds. They can run, they can hop, some can sprint, but their greatest evolutionary superpower is not their legs. It is leaving the ground entirely. But birds did not take over the sky because the ground was boring. The ground was useful. The ground had insects, seeds, nests, puddles, worms, and all the dramatic bird gossip a small animal could want. The problem was that the ground also had teeth. Lots of teeth. Ancient teeth. Fast teeth. Hungry teeth. In evolution, the floor is not lava. It is worse. It is crowded. To understand why birds fly, we have to go back before birds were fully birds. Imagine small feathered dinosaurs, moving through ancient forests and open landscapes. They were not majestic sky kings yet. They were more like tiny survival experiments with claws, tails, feathers, and suspicious levels of confidence. Some could run, some could climb, some could leap. Some probably looked like a chicken designed by a dragon having a confusing day. Here is the belief we need to break. Wings did not appear because one dinosaur woke up and said, "I shall now become an airplane." Evolution does not work like a superhero origin story. It works more like a messy garage full of weird tools. A feature appears for one reason, then gets reused for another. Feathers may help with warmth. They may help with display. They may help with balance. Then one day, the same fluffy equipment starts helping with movement. That is where the story gets strange. Early feathers were not necessarily flight feathers. A small dinosaur covered in feathers was not automatically ready for takeoff. It was more like wearing a fancy survival jacket. Feathers could trap heat. They could make an animal look bigger. They could help with courtship. They could even help shield eggs. But once feathers became longer, stronger, and arranged along the arms, they opened a new possibility. Not full flight at first. Not smooth eagle mode. More like controlled chaos. A leap becomes a longer leap. A fall becomes a safer fall. A scramble up, a slope becomes a little easier. A jump from a branch becomes less like disaster, and more like an awkward glide. In nature, awkward is not failure. Awkward is often the first draft of amazing. Think about a tiny feathered dinosaur being chased. Running is good, but everyone on the ground can run. Predators run. Prey runs. Your nervous cousin runs. But if you can flap, jump, climb, or glide just a little better than the creature trying to eat you, that little advantage matters. You do not need to fly across a continent. You just need to reach the branch before lunch reaches you. This is one of the weird reasons birds took over the sky. The sky was not conquered in one heroic leap. It may have been reached through thousands of tiny survival shortcuts. A little lift here, a little balance there, a little better landing, a little better escape. Evolution loves small improvements, because small improvements can decide who becomes dinner and who becomes a great-great-great-grandparent. Some scientists study modern birds to imagine how this might have happened. Young birds that cannot fly well can still use their wings to help them climb. They flap against the air while running up steep surfaces, almost like they are pressing themselves into the slope. It looks ridiculous, like a baby bird trying to argue with a wall. But it works. The wings help the feet grip and push. That idea is important because it shows that wings do not have to be perfect flying machines to be useful. Half a wing is not half useless. A small wing can be a balance pole, a brake, a parachute, a climbing helper, a steering tool, a panic button. For an ancient animal, that could mean escaping into trees, crossing gaps, reaching food, avoiding predators, or surviving a bad fall with slightly more dignity. Now imagine the ancient world from the ground. It is busy. It is dangerous. It is full of competition. Food is hidden in places that legs alone cannot always reach. Insects sit on branches. Fruit hangs above. Safe sleeping spots may be higher than a predator can climb easily. A creature that can move upward, even clumsily, gets access to a new layer of the world. That layer was the beginning of the sky. Not the open sky at first, the lower sky, the branch sky, the cliff sky, the tree trunk sky, the awkward jump between two shrub sky. Evolution did not hand birds a passport to the clouds. It gave their ancestors a better way to handle edges, slopes, falls, and escapes. The clouds came later. Over time, bodies changed. Smaller size helped, lighter bones helped, stronger chest muscles helped, better feathers helped. Shorter tails helped control the body. Arms became wings, with more specialized feathers. The whole animal slowly became better at turning air from empty space into support. Air is invisible, but to a wing, it becomes something you can push against. And this is where birds become almost magical without needing magic. A bird wing is not just a flat flap, it is a shaped surface. When air moves around it, the wing can create lift. When the bird flaps, it can create thrust. When feathers spread or fold, the bird can break, steer, rise, dive, or land on a tiny branch, with the confidence of someone who never had to parallel park. But flight is expensive. It takes energy. It takes coordination. It takes a body built for the job. So why keep it? Because the rewards were enormous. Flying animals could escape faster, travel farther, search wider, nest higher, migrate across seasons, and reach food sources that ground animals could not easily touch. In a world full of danger, flight was not just movement, it was freedom with feathers. Still, the funniest part is that birds never completely abandoned the ground. Watch a pigeon, watch a crow, watch a sparrow. They walk around like tiny dinosaurs, pretending the sky is not their main talent. Many birds still run, hop, scratch, peck, and argue over crumbs. Flight did not replace legs, it added a second world above them. That is the cognitive twist. Birds did not fly because running failed. Birds fly because running, climbing, jumping, balancing, falling, and escaping slowly blended into something better. Flight was not the opposite of ground life. It grew out of ground life. The first path to the sky may have started with feet, not wings. The bird did not say goodbye to the ground. It used the ground as a launch pad. So the next time a bird waddles past you, like a confused little dinosaur in a parking lot, remember what you are seeing. You are not looking at a simple animal doing a funny walk. You are looking at a living echo of ancient experiments, failed jumps, lucky escapes, useful feathers, and millions of tiny evolutionary edits. The sky was not empty. Birds were just strange enough to notice it. And maybe that is the real lesson. Evolution does not always reward the strongest runner. Sometimes it rewards the creature that turns a stumble into a glide, a flap into a climb, and a weird little feather into a doorway above the danger. So, if you were a tiny prehistoric creature with predators behind you and branches above you, would you try to become the fastest thing on the ground? Or the first weird thing brave enough to leave it?